everyone, and welcome to my food product development video. I am Julie Suriel, a Term 5 pastry student currently studying at the Culinary Arts Academy of Switzerland. So today I will be presenting my product that we have been developing over the past 9 weeks in partnership with MUN. And the product I have chosen to present to you today is called the Coconut Apple Flan. So please enjoy as we will follow the journey of how it has started to how it has ended. So, as previously mentioned, we are partnered with MUN and they have tasked us with developing a luxury viennoiserie product. So, this product has to be a combination of traditional viennoiserie techniques along with combining your modern pastry techniques. But the main problem we have is that it has to be lactose free, and we also have to make it as plant-based as possible. So in order to help us bring in these creamy textures that we'll be missing and flavors that we'll be missing by replacing the dairy and butter with plant-based options, we can use MUN flavors to enhance the flavors. And then last but not least, we are also tasked with using the MUN cold brew to develop a pairing for our pastry. The last thing we're going to look at before we get into the trials are the main ingredients I use. So obviously the main one is wheat, and I chose 2 different flours, T550 and croissant flour, to give the dough a soft, crunchy texture. Then as my milk replacement, the main one is coconut milk, as it is one of the main flavors, plus it has a silky smooth texture for the filling. Third, compromises of apples, in which I've chosen 2. The first one is Boskop apples, and the second is Granny Smith. Both will be used for different purposes. The Boskop is used mostly for cooking purees, as it has a much softer, smoother texture. And then I add fresh Granny Smith apples in to give a fresh kick of acidity. Yep. So for the first trial, we went for the lactose option just to see if the product was feasible or if I needed to change my ideas. So first thing I started was with the dough. This had normal milk and butter in it, and when it came to lamination, I chose to do 2 single folds, giving me around 9 layers. Then when finally rolling the dough, I went for 2 different thicknesses just to test out which would give a better result. The first one was 2.2 millimeters and the second one was a 3 millimeter thickness. In the end, the 3 millimeter thickness ended up being the better out of the 2. Once the dough was rolled out, we cut it into 11 centimeter circles, lined the tins and froze them. Second part was the filling. So this was a coconut pastry cream, which we then filled into the frozen laminated dough and put it to bake for 23 minutes. The final results were pretty good. The dough texture was perfect, but the filling was way too sweet, and the condensation of the filling in the tart led to a raw dough bottom. So that was it for the trial, and moving on to the second trial, we decided to change a few things. The first one is to test the full product and to reduce the sweetness, obviously. Moving on to the second trial. So for the second trial, I decided to do all 4 components that were supposed to be in my pastry. So the croissant dough was now made lactose free with the same process done from start to finish. Just we used vegan butter for lamination, and instead of normal milk, we used oat milk. Then for the coconut flan, once again, it followed the same process, except when filling it into the laminated dough, we cooled it down to help avoid that raw bottom, and we used vegan white chocolate so that it was also lactose free. Then as our new 2 components, the first one was the apple compote, which was not fully vegan since we used fish gelatin mass. But here we made an apple puree from the Boskop apples and folded in fresh diced Granny Smith apples. And then finally, for the decorative purposes, we made a coconut chantilly using mascarpone and cream. This was just made by whipping everything together and then piped in on a flower pattern. The end result was visually very appealing. but we lacked in terms of the buttery flavor in the dough, since obviously we used vegan butter. And everyone said that the piping, yes, was beautiful, but lacked refinement. And that was it for trial 2. For the third trial, the main aim was to go fully lactose-free and as plant-based as possible. So for the dough, it was the same. We ended up rolling a thickness of 2.6 millimeters, which was best. And also to help improve that buttery flavor, we incorporated 0.2% of the Man butter flavor. The coconut flour sweetness level was perfect in trial 2, so in trial 3, we decided to increase the coconut flavor and reduce the cornstarch a bit to give it a more of a creamy texture. The coconut flavoring ended up being a huge hit as it made it enhanced. Then, instead of making the whipped chantilly, instead I made a coconut whipped ganache that was also lactose-free, and the stabilizer used in that was flax fiber, which helps set the ganache without using gelatin. And then last but not least, the apple compote. In order to make it as plant-based as possible, we used pectin NH instead of gelatin, and the texture and taste turned out perfectly. So with trial 3, we also did a lake view tasting. So this is where we cut our product up in small plates and handed out a survey to our fellow students. So the general feedback that we received was quite positive, with everything ranking over a 4 out of 5 for appearance, texture, flavor, and balance. Many people said that they really enjoy the product and will consider it a luxury viennoiserie, and that they would buy it every now and again, which is what we want, because we don't want this product to be something that you go to the grocery store and buy. It's more something you go out to a luxury palace to enjoy. Some rooms or areas of improvement were that some people, it was a bit contradictory, because some people said that it needed more apple flavor and others said it needed more coconut flavor. So we tried to adjust that during the last trial. And also we asked to choose between 2 visual appearances, which you can see in the side over here. And many people went for the second option, saying that it was a lot more mature and refined. Last but not least, we get to our final trial, trial 4. So in trial 4, there weren't many significant changes being made, except for the dough, I ended up changing it to 1 double and 1 single fold, just to improve the flakiness. And I also added another 0.2% of the Man creamy flavor, just to enhance the creaminess, obviously. And lastly, I replaced some of the normal sugar with inverted sugar, just to improve the dryness of the dough. The flanc filling remained the same with the Man flavoring, and then the apple compote remained the same, as well as the whipped ganache the same as well. The main thing that made the biggest difference, I would say, is that for this tasting, we pre-bake the tarts. So this was done by, first of all, lining the tins with the laminated dough, putting in a middle tin, filling that with almond powder, freezing it, then baking that at 165 degrees for 18 minutes, removing that from the oven and taking out the almond flour tin, baking that again for another 10 minutes, and then once the tart was fully baked and fully cooled down, we filled it with the flanc filling. This completely eliminated the raw dough bottom and had the biggest impact on the texture of the dough. My dessert as well ended up being paired with an espresso martini, which I made with the Man cold brew extract. This was a perfect pairing to my dessert, as the richness and creaminess of the viennoiserie was cut nicely by the alcohol flavor from the martini. Along with our final trial came our Man Tasting, which is the company we are in partnership with. Overall, I received a score of 45 out of 50, which is pretty good. The main aspects they said that needed improvement was an increase in the coconut flavor, as well as that the filling could be more creamy and less dense. And last but not least, to end off, here are the final processes for each component, please feel free to pause the video to take a deeper look. All up, I would say that this was a generally positive experience and I have learned many new and exciting things along the way. I'm very proud of the product I created and I think it nails the brief perfectly, obviously with room for improvement, but overall very happy. So thank you for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!